let's talk to our friend Stanley. Hi, Stanley. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing well. Stanley Nelson is our guest, and he's directed a film for the Sundance Film Festival called Wounded Knee, and it's about, well, the title tells you. You know, we remember Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, the D. Brown book. So it's about Native Americans, and it's about a pretty ugly incident, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about an incident in 1973 where a group of Native Americans went back to the town of Wounded Knee where the slaughter was in 1890.
What state is that in, Stanley?
That's in South Dakota. It's on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. And a group of Native Americans took over the town at gunpoint and held the town for 71 days with the federal government surrounding them with tanks. And the federal government ended up shooting over 500,000 rounds of ammunition into the town, and 2 people were killed.
500,000 rounds of ammunition. Now, what happened to these guys ultimately?
Well, ultimately, most of them actually snuck out of the town at night and got away, but then they were pursued by the government, and most of them spent a lot of time trying to fight convictions. Most of them actually were freed and were not convicted, but they spent a lot of time and a lot of money. It was the American Indian Movement, AIM, was responsible. And one of the government's tactics after Wounded Knee was to keep them in court and to defeat them in courts by just tying them up, tying up their time and tying up their money.
Was it successful?
Yeah, I mean, it was successful, and other things were part of kind of dismantling AIM, but I think that was probably the major part of it.
What and does AIM exist at all in any form anymore?
It does. It kind of splintered, and there's more than one AIM and different groups, but it's nowhere near what it was in 1973.
How much of this film was actual footage of the incident?
Yeah, one of the things that's incredible about the film is it's probably 65 to 70% actual footage. I've never worked on a film that had so much stock footage. One thing that happened, it was this huge news story where camera crews came from all the networks, Japan, Europe. Actually, some people snuck in, kind of individuals who just had cameras snuck in and stayed there for the whole 71 days. So there was a ton of footage that we used to tell the story.
The Native American history in this country is one certainly an ugly history, but it's generally pretty quiet until something like this happens. Are any of these resentments and boiling to this point where something like this could happen again?
I don't think it can happen again in this way. I think that one of the things about Wounded Knee in 1973 was it was part of the time. This is the time of the Black Panthers and the war protests, and to us now it would seem strange and crazy, but there were polls at the time that said over 50% of the American people were on the side of the Indians, who had clearly taken over the town and had guns and were holding it at gunpoint, but people were on their side.
Were the people in the town on their side?
That's funny because some people were and some people weren't, and then there were some people who were just neutral. Part of why the town was taken over was really to protest what was happening in the town of Pine Ridge with the Pine Ridge Reservation. I'm sorry, with the tribal chairman had kind of taken over and had his own army, and there were 2 different factions who were fighting each other. So that's one of the things that's really fascinating, I think, about the story, is it's not only Native Americans against the United States government, but it's also Native Americans fighting amongst themselves.
Kind of like a Native American Godfather Mafia kind of thing. In a way.
Yeah, even worse. I mean, he literally had his own army.
Dick Wilson, is that his name?
Yeah, that's his name, Dick Wilson.
Now, what's become of Dick Wilson?
Dick Wilson passed away. So this is 1973. He was up in age then, and he's passed away.
What brought you to this story?
That's funny because I am a filmmaker. I've done a number of historical films, and I did a film called Jonestown: The Life and Death of People's Temple.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah. For American Experience, and they asked me to do this film. It's part of a series called We Shall Remain, a 5-part series on Native American history, which each film covers a distinct story. So it's not an omnibus of American history. Each film covers a distinct story, and it'll start airing in April of this year on PBS.
So if you don't see it here at the Sundance Film Festival, you'll see this as part of that series on PBS.
Yeah, we shall remain. It starts airing. It airs once a week, starting in April, and ours is the final show in the series.
Wounded Knee, directed by Stanley Nelson. Now you can
You can see it today at 2:30 at the Holiday Village Cinema 3 up here in Park City. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Broadway Center downtown. Monday at 9 a.m. at the Temple Theater here in Park City, and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Thursday the 22nd at the Holiday Village Cinema 3 in Park City.
Stanley, best of luck. This is the Jonestown. I saw this recently, as a matter of fact. I think it was on television recently. The Jonestown film that you did, really impressive. And I hope you have great success with this. Sounds like you already have.
Well, today is going to be our first screening, and I've never seen it with an audience, so I'm
Oh, really?
excited. I actually have never seen it on the screen, so today will be my first time, so I'm really excited about it.
Great. Sounds like a great topic and a great movie. Wounded Knee. The director Stanley Nelson. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you all so much.
All right.